Hi, this is Mike Marinas, chiropractor in South Africa. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about hiccups because I, on average, will get about 6 to 10 people a week asking me, my baby has hiccups, is this right? How often should a baby hiccup? Does it hurt them? How do I stop hiccups? And I thought I'd just take this opportunity to look at a little bit of the research to be able to go, what are hiccups? Should we stop them? And is there any benefit to them? Because for the longest time, I've not really been able to answer that question. Because number one, we know it doesn't hurt babies. As long as it doesn't go on for 48 hours or more, we know that it doesn't intrinsically hurt kids. It can be irritating for us and them. We definitely know that. But there doesn't seem to be a reason that they're there. And it's the strangest thing because hiccups are apparent in all suckling mammals, right the way from horses to rabbits to rats to cats to all of them. And we don't see it. We don't see hiccups in animals like reptiles and amphibians and birds. So it's very specific to us, but why? If you look at any other reflexes, like let's take a sneeze reflex, that's really important because it needs to clear the upper airways. And if you take a cough reflex, it's also important because it needs to clear the lower airways. But hiccuping, it doesn't seem to do much. And for a long time, there have been a lot of different theories about why hiccups happen, and maybe they were from an old evolutionary trait and we've just kind of kept them, and it's one of those things we just have to go, and deal with and try to get rid of as best as we can. But in the last couple of years, there have been 2 research papers that have really stood out about hiccups. The one talks about the fact that hiccups are actually part of what we call a burping reflex. So hiccups themselves are there to help human babies get burps out. And what they say is happening is that the part underneath your diaphragm gets irritated by all the air pressure underneath. That irritation sends a message up to a part of your brain called the medulla that then sends information down and gets this hiccup to happen and gets the diaphragm to push. And what it does is it decreases the pressure in the chest. So it sucks this air from underneath the diaphragm into the chest to be able to be expelled. Expelled is the word I'm looking for, to be able to be expelled. So that's the one thing that we think it possibly has to do with being a burping reflex. The other one, which is really interesting, is a neurological thing. And what they talk about is, I don't know if you've ever looked at your baby and seen their jaw kind of quivers. A lot of people think that's their child getting cold. Or you see a little bit of an involuntary, what we call involuntary muscular movement in one limb, one part of the body. Now, what we know about those is that they're not babies being cold. What happens is when that movement happens, a big shot of information goes up to their brain, and that informs their brain of where that body part is in space, and it gives it what we call a map of that body part. But as much as there is a map of the external body of all the limbs and jaw and face and all sorts, there's also a map of the internal body, and there's a map of the thoracic cavity, and there's a map of the abdomen. So what they think now is having hiccups happen actually increases your brain's awareness and ability to understand what's happening inside your body, and we call this interoception, and it's become quite a buzzword in the research community of late. So what it's actually doing is helping your baby work out where its breathing muscles are and how those breathing muscles are organized and operated by baby's brain. So in short, the next time your baby has hiccups, maybe not the first thing to go and try and stop them. It might A, be your baby trying to get some wind out, or B, it might very well be that your baby is trying to map the inside of their body and find out just where those respiratory muscles are and how they work. All of it's conjecture, all of it is very interesting, but it is something that we can say that makes plausible sense from a biological standpoint. So that is my just under 5 minutes with you on hiccups.